Hey everyone. Today I'm going to read to you from Psycho-Cybernetics. And I went into Psycho-Cybernetics before, I think about a year ago. If you look in the history of the videos that I made, I'm pretty sure that I also call them Psycho-Cybernetics, like the videos, but I'm not completely sure. Yeah, if you have a lazy day, then you can skip through some videos and then see what you find if you feel like it, or just order the book. I can highly recommend the book. Before I go into it, I wanted to say that anyone who has already bought my book and wasn't able to open it because I got a message from a couple of people that they weren't able to open it on their Kindle, I uploaded a different version. So if that doesn't help, then send me an email. I will put my email in the description, and then I will help you out. So, having that said, let's get into it. Know the truth about yourself. It's on page 48 of Psycho-Cybernetics, the updated and expanded version. The aim of self-image psychology is not to create a fictitious self that is all-powerful, arrogant, egoistic, and all-important. Such an image is inappropriate and unrealistic as the inferior image of self. Our aim is to find the real self and to bring our mental images of ourselves more in line with the objects represented by our goals. However, it is common knowledge among psychologists that most of us underrate ourselves, shortchange ourselves, and sell ourselves short. Actually, there's no such thing as a superiority complex. People who seem to have one are actually suffering from feelings of inferiority. Their superior self is a fiction, a cover-up to hide from themselves and their deep-down feelings of inferiority and insecurity. How can you know the truth about yourself? How can you make a true evaluation? It seems to me that here psychology must turn to religion. The scriptures tell us that God created man a little lower than the angels and gave him dominion, that God created man in his own image. If we really believe in an all-wise, all-powerful, all-loving creator, then we are in a position to draw some logical conclusions about that which he has created. Man. In the first place, such an all-wise and all-powerful creator would not turn out inferior products, any more than a master painter would paint inferior canvases. Such a creator would not deliberately engineer his product to fail, any more than a manufacturer would deliberately build failure into an automobile. The fundamentalists tell us that man's chief purpose and reason for living is to glorify God, and the humanists tell us that man's primary purpose is to express himself fully. However, if we take the premise that God is a loving creator and has the same interest in his creation that an earthly father has in his children, then it seems to me that the fundamentalists and the humanists are saying the same thing. What brings more glory, pride, and satisfaction to a father than seeing his offspring do well, succeed, and express to the full their abilities and talents? Have you ever sat by the father of a football star during a game? Jesus expressed the same thought when he told us not to hide our light under a bushel, but to let our light shine so that your Father may be glorified. I cannot believe that it brings any glory to God when his children go around with hang-dog expressions, being miserable, afraid to lift up their heads and be somebody. As Dr. Leslie D. Weatherhead, Christian theologian and author of The Will of God, wrote in the Prescription for Anxiety, if we have in our minds a picture of ourselves as fear-haunted and defeated nobodies, we must get rid of that picture at once and hold up our heads. That is a false picture, and the false must go. God sees us as men and women in whom and through whom he can do a great work. He sees us as already serene, confident, and cheerful. He sees us not as pathetic victims of life, but masters of the art of living, not wanting sympathy, but imparting help to others, and therefore thinking less and less of ourselves, and full, not of self-concern, but of love and laughter and the desire to serve. Let us look at the real selves, which are in the making the moment we believe in their existence. We must recognize the possibility of change and believe in the self we are now in the process of becoming. That old sense of unworthiness and failure must go. It is false, and we are not to believe in what is false. So far, this piece from Psycho-Cybernetics. And yeah, it's what Neville also says, right? A lot about how we are God. He goes a bit further actually than what is stated here. And that's what I love about Neville, even though I haven't read him in a long time. And then lastly, I want to read to you from Linda Maddendow's Living a Safe Universe, Volume 2. Yeah, here we go. Commanding our moment point. So, a moment point, this is what Seth says, a moment point basically consists not of any particular given time division, but is within your system a convenient term that expresses or represents the range of reality that can be conveniently embraced with undue strain. My idea of a moment point is only an approximation of your physical moment. I'm trying to make it plain here that the range of action is what is important. A moment point is a range of action. So before I go into it further, he says a lot, the point of power is now. And you know by now that there's no linear time. And it's something that you really, 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 really need to get. As in, like, your body already understands it. The only thing we need to do is get our heads out of the way. And when you know that everything is now, then you don't feel a victim to circumstances, because you know, oh, wait a minute, there's no linear time. Okay, cool. So I don't have to feel like, this and that happened, and I feel awful, and I feel guilty, and I feel whatnot. No, because something else is just as real. And you're not experiencing that because you're focusing on that other thing. And when you know that everything is now, and the point of power is now, and things are created in moment points, what I'm going to talk about a bit more, then you know, nice, I can release that. Because yes, it happened, and multiple things happened, other things happened too. And I can experience them and feel the freedom of the other happenings by just releasing this and like brushing it off as, okay, yeah, this is a moment point. But there are multiple other ones that were not embarrassing or something that I have to feel guilty about. And guilt is like a bullshit emotion anyway. So please, whenever you feel guilty, think of these wise words from me. Guilt is a bullshit feeling, so you don't need to feel it. Okay, commending our moment point. Why are we in physical reality? Not why do we exist, but why did we choose physical reality this time? We are here to learn responsibility in the use of creative energy by viewing the power and effect of our ideas. Everything we talked about in Living One, Living a Safe Universe, the first volume, and this book has led to this statement, this chapter. From understanding our point of origin via all that is, the three dilemmas and action, to the fact of our inviolate safety within our identity's dimension of existence, to how expansion occurs through value fulfillment, to understanding ourselves in a larger context that includes the active participation of our inner self, to the ego and its influence, to mental acts and how they select probabilities, to understanding the spacious present and our significance within it, to the gift of free will and its purpose, to why simultaneous time trumps linear time in where and when creation happens. Because without this background, we would not accept, let alone trust, the power of the moment point, and therefore we would never experience home free at last. While the moment point is definitely about action, it is not only about the action of ideas and their physical constructions, but the action of our whole spiritual, physical, and psychological self. We are always present in our moment point because we create it. And the reason we need to remember this, because everything we'll talk about here, all the ways to consciously focus the moment point, are not some strange ideas that have no merit other than to make us temporarily feel better about the lousy condition of our life or put a band-aid over it. The ideas themselves are about using our whole self and our action consciously and spontaneously. They're about knowing who we are and trusting what we know. They're about choosing to use our knowledge and free will to create the framework and the quality of the moment point we desire. So, holy moly, those were a lot of words and concepts. And what it boils down to is this. Understand that you are more than just this physical being. Feel it. Close your eyes now. Close your eyes, take a breath, and feel how you're connected to more than just you. And it links beautifully to what I just read about what Dr. Maxwell Maltz said, and his friend that he was quoting. Like, you're a child of God, or all that is, or however you want to call it. You're made in the image of all that is. And you're not just this physical body. And while your body is beautiful and it's like it's so intricate and how it can, breathe itself and live itself, you're much more than that. And next to being much more than that, you're also creating every second of every moment, less than a second. So, and all that you think, all that you feel in all your forms exists in the spacious present. And that's all for now. So there's enough to chew on. You can always ask me questions in the comments or send me an email if you are not comfortable putting it in the comments. I would suggest that you listen to this audio a couple of more times. And what I do myself often is that I pose myself questions, like I write things down to better understand it, or I try to explain it to someone else who doesn't really know, doesn't really have this background yet. Yeah, that's it. I wish you a beautiful day, and I see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.